Hi guys, so this is part two of two around this piece. So just to go through the problem statement again, and this is off the back of a talk that I gave to a forum quite recently. So the problem statement, just to run through it again, is I need to make a decision around building my own team versus working with an outsourced partner. This is obviously in relation to software development. And further to this, that getting this wrong could really mean the difference between success or failure. And that further to this, as a business owner or founder, I don't necessarily feel equipped to make this decision with the knowledge that I have. So this is speaking to you if you are a founder that is not very technical, that doesn't have a lot of experience building software, and is really needing to make this decision and needs to get this decision right. So I'm just going to jump through a couple of slides because this is broken up into two sessions. So I'm going to skip through all the ones that I did in the last session. So just bear with me. So, all right, so I think this is where we left off. So, speaking to this consideration, what ratios do you care about? There are a lot of different options building software and choosing a software partner. And I really urge you to consider these four words: quality, process, time, and cost. And really think which two of these are the most important to you. And the answer to this question is going to inform a lot of who you choose. For example, and your priorities will require different solutions. So if you really value time and cost, there's a certain type of agency and partner that you're going to be looking for. These are the guys that are going to do things very quickly, very cheap, not necessarily high quality, not necessarily built for scale, probably stuff you're going to be using for like a prototype or what we call like a quick and dirty build. So you're probably going to throw this away afterwards, but it has a place in the market, POCs, that kind of stuff, etc. Versus quality and cost, for example, which is the ratio that we pride ourselves on, is that we deliver an extremely high quality product, extremely high quality service, the engagement, the relationship, the experience, but the cost point is not as high as it is with a lot of other agencies. So we focus as our agency on getting the quality to cost ratio right. Extremely high quality, extremely high output, a cost price and a cost base that is not as high as some of the competitors. And process can be baked into that. So really the point I'm making here is just get clear about what you care about here. And it's usually got to do with the stage of your build. Usually if you're looking at like the proof of concept, very early stage, don't really even know if it's going to work stage, time and cost are usually going to be your biggest factors. As you go into, maybe you've got funding and you actually want to build this thing for scale and you want to build this thing properly, well, then your ratios probably change a bit more and you care more about quality, more about process and getting this right for the long term. So just get clear on this because maybe you haven't even thought about this yet, and that should help drive your decision and drive your conversations. The next consideration is, where will I get more value? So what we're speaking to here is, if you're building a team in-house, it can certainly cost you less from a dollar base on a monthly basis or what have you. And that's fine, and there is a place for that. But it's really about thinking longer term, how much energy and money do you want to, are you prepared to, are you able to allocate to keeping them on the cutting edge and up to date? How much time and energy do you want to allocate to talent retention and acquisition? Software development is an industry where it's very difficult to attract great talent. It's very difficult to retain great talent, and there's a lot of work and energy that goes into this. We spend an enormous amount of time, resource, all of our resources on these two things, building the cultures, the type of work that we do, the teams that we create, how we do upskilling, the amount of time we dedicate to learning. These are very important things because if you're going to build your own team, just be very aware that if you want to attract the best talent and retain the best talent for your project, you've got to factor in significant amounts of resource to fulfill these things. And it's a question of whether you want to do that or whether you don't want to do that. It's totally doable. It's just, what are your inclinations? What are you prepared to do? Following on from this in a similar vein is how much time and energy, how much resource do you want to be putting into process and delivery? Optimizing the velocity of your software development, optimizing how tests are done, optimizing the quality of code, the quality of process, how bugs are caught, quality assurance, the communication cycles, all of these things. Again, in our business, we allocate a huge amount of time and resource to continually improving this and getting it better, because the better this stuff is, the better the product is, the end product, the user experience, the integrity of the software, of the code. So again, it's just that question of, yes, you can totally do this yourself, but how much do you actually want to have this as a core part of your own business? If the answer is totally fine, happy to do this, happy to invest in this, great. If the answer is nah, couldn't be bothered, then you're probably looking at dealing with a high-end software development partner. And again, these are questions that are hopefully informing you around what are the questions I should be asking my software development partner. Like, how do they manage this? How do they manage talent acquisition and retention? If I have a bunch of software developers on my project, how do I know they're going to be working on my project in 3 months, 6 months, in a year? How much time do you as a partner put into upskilling, process improvement, optimization, testing? These are questions that can inform your decision as well. Another fear that I want to speak to is I don't want to be locked into a partner. So there are too many instances where people like you have contracted companies like us, although we don't do this, and find themselves locked into them and just cannot remove themselves from them for a number of reasons. So when your partner is, or even your own CTO or what have you, is suggesting a tech stack, languages, frameworks, hosting, understand what the reason is for that. Now, this is not necessarily from a technical perspective. I'm not a developer, so I don't come at this from a technical perspective, but understand from a strategic perspective why this is being suggested. And what I mean by that is, if it's some obscure, exotic language and framework, it doesn't make sense from a strategic perspective, because you're not going to find developers easily to work on it. You're not going to be able to get second opinions easily. You're not going to be able to move software development partners easier. So understand from your partner or even your internal team, please explain to me from a strategic perspective why you've chosen this tech stack. I want to understand it as a business person, not necessarily just a tech perspective. Many good tech partners around, there's no shortage of them. But what is the business acumen as compared to the tech capability? So something that we're very proud of is that a lot of our clients comment on how quickly we understand and actually add value to their business model and get their business outcomes, and that we're constantly trying to optimize the work that we're doing to support a business outcome or a business goal or a business target, not just building the best tech. Those things have got to coexist, and you should be assessing your team or your outsource partner on that balance, because it's very important. There comes a time where outsourcing does not make sense anymore. So we've worked with clients where we've done their builds, we've done their main features, they've raised investment again. The product is now big and it's out there in the world and they have lots of users. And it just gets to a point where it's kind of crazy to be paying a dev shop to be doing bug fixes and small features and what have you. But you need to think about, how do you transition from that when you start the relationship? So if you're going with a tech partner, talk to them about, okay, so when and if we want to move away, how do we move away? What is the process? How will the divorce be handled? And understand that up front. In some cases, it's just about walking away. In some cases with us, we've actually had a really great relationship where we've said, okay, well, let's help you build an internal tech team in your business in a slow process. So we will help you vet the candidates. We'll help with process. We'll help with methodology. The handover will take time. And we'll be around here for as long as you want to make that transition and build the team within your business such that your valuation, your investors, everybody is much happier because you have now this capability in-house at the right time. So just understand from the outset how that's going to be dealt with when and if the time comes. And that's basically it. Hopefully this was valuable. And please, guys, as always, reach out, DM me, or in the comments if you want to talk about this in any more detail. Thanks for watching.